What is up, y'all? Today we'll be talking about why I think the Brooklyn Nets will be good for many more years. But first off, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like the video and subscribe for daily sports content I do to NFL, NBA, college football, and college basketball. But that's it for now. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets. So, last offseason, the Brooklyn Nets, had one of, if not the biggest coup when they signed Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant to an already, decent-ish team. All right. Um. Now, obviously, this does come with issues. Kyrie Irving is not exactly the best teammate of all time. We will go with that. He's often injured too. Kevin Durant has never really been a leader in his life, and he was coming off a major injury to his Achilles, I believe. It's just those were probably not the two best players they could have signed, but still, it's pretty good. Long story short. But, you know, they're both older guys, okay? And that has led some people to think that, hey, they won't be good after this season or next season. And they also, are saying that because, Kyrie Irving is often injured, doesn't want to talk to the media. He's not exactly a normal NBA player, we'll go with that. And then Kevin Durant, injured already. But I personally think that the Brooklyn Nets will do very good, not even necessarily this season, but consistently for the next couple of seasons. Here's why. So first off, we're going to start with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So Kevin Durant, he played his first game today. I am recording this the 13th, by the way. He looked better. He did look not necessarily better, I guess, but he looked healthy, which is good for him. I mean, even if you don't, like him for what he did going to Golden State, you have to, wish he's at least healthy. That's, the decent human being thing to do. But what I really wanted to talk about here is his game and how his game ages well. So obviously, athleticism is a huge issue with some, figures in the NBA, such as, say, Russell Westbrook. He relies heavily on his athleticism, which is why he will not age well. And while Kevin Durant does rely somewhat on his athleticism, it is much easier for him to transition his game as he grows older. And what I mean to say here is he is a 7-footer that can shoot the three, right? That will be valuable anywhere. Even if he can't, come flying down the court on a fast break like some people, he will still, be able to do, things for a team, is what I'm trying to say here is. As long as he can keep his shooting touch, he will be fine, okay? Might be a bit overpaid, but he will do more or less fine. However, there's another aspect of his game that I personally would want him to work on, and that is playmaking. So the past two seasons with the Lakers, we've seen LeBron, been able to play make, and he's played some of the best basketball of his career, okay? And I feel like if Kevin Durant could play make, it would just take a lot of stress off him, okay? It would just, make it easier for him, quite honestly, because if he can, make the right pass, he doesn't have to drive into the paint every time, okay? And while that's never been a huge part of his game, we want to try and keep Kevin Durant healthy if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, front office manager. So the next player whose game I want to talk about, who is their other superstar traditionally, or, coincidentally, I guess, is Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie Irving, he is, you either love him or you hate him. I'm going to go with that. Yeah, his game, it ages well, I think. He is not an athletic player. He is not, fast break flying, slam dunking kind of dude, right? He is a three dribble around shoot kind of guy. All right, he can play make. He's a point guard. His game will age very well, in my opinion, as long as he stays, somewhat healthy. Um, he's never been a standout on defense or anything like that, so so that area might decline. But they know, or they figure out at least, that yeah, he will get worse at some things, such as defense. But I think Kyrie Irving's game ages well too. So you might be saying, yeah, their games age well, but neither one of them will be, especially dominant more likely once they get older, especially with, the fact that both of them are injury prone. And to that I say, yes, you make a very good point, my fine sir, but there are three other players on the Nets that we need to talk about here for two separate reasons, okay? And they are Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, and Spencer Dinwiddie. So the reason we need to talk about these guys is because they're good basketball players. The only one that you could make an argument for is Jared Allen. He's not, amazing, but he's a young guy. He's shown tons of potential. He's an amazing defensive guy. Um, so the reason we need to talk about these, two reasons, as I said before, we'll start off with the first one. They could just carry the team. They could just develop into better players. While Kevin Durant and Kyrie age, Jared Allen might develop a three-point shot or something crazy like that. Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert, they might improve even more. And they might become the third superstar. They might become one of those third superstars. But while we're on the topic of third superstar, that's the other reason these guys are important, is for trade value. So, I mean, James Harden wants to play for Brooklyn, right? He's just one example. But I'm sure there are other people. I expect there to be one guy that we don't see coming, request a trade or demand a trade this offseason. I mean, you never know who. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of it. We don't know who will request a trade. Could be Bradley Beal. I mean, they might go all in for him. Could be Giannis. I mean, probably not, but who knows? It's just, there will be a guy that requests a trade, a superstar that requests a trade. And the Nets would have a very good package if they did want to wish to make, an attempt to get this superstar player. Like, let's say hypothetically, I know this will never happen, like, ever, but let's just say a guy like Damian Lillard or Steph Curry requested a trade. We'll ignore the fact that he doesn't fit with Kyrie at all. We'll just say that he requested a trade. The Brooklyn Nets could now come up and say, hey, we have Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, two, borderline all-stars, two good players, okay? We have Jared Allen, a good younger guy. We can throw in some picks, maybe Joe Harris, a sharpshooter too. That's looking like a somewhat attractive trade package, y'all. Might not necessarily be the best one they can get or the best one they could offer. Obviously they throw in picks and probably a younger guy or two. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a team that wants to still compete despite trading away as superstars such as, the Rockets, we'll take the Rockets for example. The Rockets are still looking to compete, okay? Trading for Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Karis LeVert, even though they wouldn't be getting a younger guy to start their rebuild, except for unless you view Jared Allen as the face of the franchise, they'd be getting Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie, two guys that can probably help them compete in the West. Which is why I personally think Brooklyn is in a very good position in terms of trading. Yeah. Joe Harris, he's another asset that I've talked about a little bit. Yeah. And, we also have to talk about DeAndre Jordan, right? If they were to trade away Jared Allen, they'd have DeAndre Jordan to step up. So it's not as if, they'd be trading away to starting center and be running out some random dude at center. They'd still have DeAndre Jordan. They'd still have a decent amount of depth. Yeah, that is why I personally think the Brooklyn Nets will be a threat for a long time. Now, I said this before, I'm going to have to say it again to get the message across. Subscribe if you enjoy daily NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball. I do them all. And if you like the video, just like the video on YouTube. It helped my channel out a lot. So yeah, that is it for today, y'all. Leave your comments, thoughts, all that good stuff down below. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. And that's going to be it for today. So I hope you all have an amazing day.